Yo, what?
My toddler started exhibiting some very strange behaviors lately. Like, long story short, this show on Netflix was the culprit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is the most twisted Netflix kids show of all time. This right here is called Bad Dinosaurs. It was released by Netflix in 2024 and marketed as a light-hearted, family-friendly comedy about prehistoric dinosaurs and whatever else. It basically sits right in the Netflix Kids tab, with bright colors, harmless music, characters smiling and making funny jokes. But when you actually sit and watch any of these episodes on this Netflix Kids show, all of the jokes and scenes seem to revolve around farts, butts, and just weird physical gags that just feel, to be quite honest with you, quite off limits for a preschool audience. And to be honest, after everything I'm about to show today, I think there should be something said about the fact that it definitely shouldn't be targeted towards kids. Essentially, we're gonna take a deep dive into this show, Bad Dinosaurs, on Netflix, all of the weird, provocative, and disgusting jokes that are actually in this show that was approved by Netflix. We're gonna talk about what actual mums who have kids that watch this show think about it, and how their kids are literally exhibiting behaviors from the show, and then showing some more insane visuals at the end. And so look, if you think that this Netflix show should absolutely be reviewed, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so more people are aware of this. And anyways, let's begin. Yo, what? Okay, so that's the second time that's happened so far, where for some reason people just sit on each other's heads. I mean, look, a lot of the times that can be seen as harmless, right? It's a bit of a stretch to say that that's insanely problematic. I mean, to be fair, when I was a kid, right, I definitely watched shows where there were jokes like that, where people were sitting on each other's faces. I just think for something like this, which is clearly targeted towards not only kids, but genuine toddlers, it's just a little bit strange in my opinion. But trust me though, it definitely gets a lot worse than that. Alright, bro. Like, do I need to say much more at the moment? Again, I need to reiterate, right? If this was for an audience of like primary schoolers, maybe going towards high school, that sort of thing, maybe this wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But the fact that this is clearly so targeted towards genuine toddlers, like people that are just learning to speak, you gotta be really careful what kind of jokes and what kind of scenes you're showing to literal kids. And again, like I've said already, if you don't believe that this is bad, we have literal mums who have babies who are imitating stuff from this show already. It actually gets bad. Like, what? Alright, bro, nah, I don't know about that one. Look, it's one thing to have jokes where someone, like, sits on someone's face, whether that be, like, they just land on them, like, if they're falling from the sky and, like, someone gets sat on, right? I understand that can be funny, but the fact that they take it a step further to where they literally, like, grind on the person's face, like, bro, what is that? I'm sorry, bro, but if I've got a 3-year-old, I do not want them watching this goddamn show. Like, yo, what? Yeah, nah, there's definitely something wrong with this goddamn show. I don't know who made this, bro, but it definitely wasn't a sane human. Like, bro, why are we getting these weird angles? What are these angles, bro? And why are the butt cheeks on this dinosaur so big? This genuinely seems like some animated content farm I would have looked at like 6 months ago. But at least those content farms on YouTube could kind of have the excuse of like, oh yeah, you know, it's not properly meant for kids. It's on YouTube, so it's meant for like 13 plus or whatever. This Netflix show is on the kids tab. This is meant for toddlers. Look, if you're a parent watching this right now, I'd be so extremely concerned with how unmonitored and how insanely ridiculously easy it is for literal toddlers to find this kind of content on Netflix. But you'd think Netflix, one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world, would be a little bit more moderated in terms of this kind of content, especially when it comes to kids. But this so far is actually insane. Bro. Okay, what the actual hell is this show? That actually isn't that bad right there, but the thing about this, right? This is basically the entire show summed up right there in the last 20 seconds we just watched. Fart jokes, people sitting on each other and grinding. Like, bro, what is going on? Again, this needs to be reiterated. This isn't something for where if it was for like 10-year-olds to 12-year-olds, you know, maybe a little bit older than that. I've been a 10-year-old myself, bro. I understand the type of humor I had. It was fart jokes and weird YouTube videos, like it was that sort of stuff. But this, I feel like for people people under that age, for people who are literal toddlers, takes it to a point where it definitely shouldn't be. Parents absolutely need to be aware of stuff like this. Now look, we've seen a lot of just really cursed and insane clips so far, but I think it's time to have a look at what actual parents are saying about this. Because some of these clips from mums talking about how their babies have been acting after watching this show are actually insane.
My toddler started exhibiting some very strange behaviors lately, like very disgusting, very concerning behaviors, and of course, I'm worried and wondering who in the world is teaching him these things.
And look, here's the thing about this, right, before we keep going. I understand the argument that a lot of people have, where it's like, oh, well, don't blame Netflix, don't blame the people that are actually making the show, blame the parents that aren't monitoring their kids and what they're watching. Here's the thing you gotta understand about the modern world, especially in 2025. When you have kids and you have toddlers, obviously you should be monitoring what they're watching and what they're doing on their iPads or phones and whatever. Honestly, limiting their screen time entirely would be the best thing in the world. But the thing is, right, everyone in this modern world is busy. Everyone's got things they have to do. We live in an economy where both parents have to work to provide for a family, especially a kid. It is extremely hard to have one person sitting at home watching a kid all day. So naturally, most parents turn to TV, or they turn to shows, or they turn to whatever else it is, whether it be iPads, to just have their kids watch that throughout the day. I'm not gonna deny the fact that it is difficult to monitor literally everything that goes on in their kids' screens and what they watch. And as a parent, it's probably understandable to expect that when you go to a major streaming platform, whether that be YouTube or Netflix or something else like that, and you go to the kids section, that there shouldn't be anything bad on there. But because of these insanely greedy companies and all of these insanely disgusting YouTube channels that I've watched on this channel, all of these weird kids shows, that peace of mind that parents should have when going to a kids section on Netflix or YouTube has basically been completely destroyed. Because for some reason we live in a world where even when you go onto the kids version of these apps, they're still extremely disgusting and they're still extremely disturbing.
Long story short, this show on Netflix was the culprit. My son loves dinosaurs, obsessed with them. And for the last 6 weeks, we were staying in North Carolina and he was spending a lot of time with my grandparents. And they know he loves dinosaurs, so they just found something on Netflix and put this on for him, and none of us was really paying attention to it. And then one day, I actually sat down and watched it with my kid, and when I tell you this show is disgusting, it is absolutely gross. It's just dinosaurs who don't speak, who do really gross things to each other, and it's passed off as comedy for little kids.
And this is the problem here. There are certain circumstances where it's just out of this person's control. They're both probably working a full-time job, and so this baby has to spend a lot of time with his grandparents. His grandparents, who are probably old and don't understand technology, have just thrown on a Netflix show assuming that it would be okay if it's from the kids section. Turns out, lo and behold, it's not. Because Netflix has a horrible moderation system, like YouTube, like Twitter, like Instagram, like every other social media platform, that are absolutely terrible at flushing out content that shouldn't be for kids. It's the exact same thing with YouTubers like Shappy Sway, Rocky Raccoon, YouTubers we've watched in the past on this Glider Guy channel, and for some reason it doesn't seem like it's going to be going down anytime soon. I don't know what we have to do to get these social media platforms to actually listen and do something. It's literally insane. And if you thought that this was just a one-off case with one parent, here we have another parent saying the same thing.
Parents with kids watching Netflix, beware of this show. I'm gonna add a clip here. You have to watch it. It looks like the creator had to be on like shrooms when making this show.
Yeah, nah, okay, that is actually insane. Yo, I am so sorry to any new parents out there who may have toddlers watching this video. What can you possibly do in 2025 to keep your kids away from content like this? This is on the kids section of Netflix. Like, what are we doing here? I know Netflix has been in controversy over the last few years, but it's still one of the biggest streaming platforms out there. How hard is it to monitor and look at the shows that are going on your kids section? I mean, surely Netflix has some sort of responsibility for this, right? They've got to be held accountable at some point.
What? Like, what the frick is going on? First of all, the little creatures, dinos, running around, don't like talk.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a little bit strange. I don't think that clip was as bad as some of the other ones we've seen, but it's still just extremely weird. Like I said before, these are toddlers watching this, not normal children, not normal kids going outside, going to the skate park. They're not old enough yet, bro. They shouldn't be seeing stuff like this. And anyone that thinks that they should be seeing stuff like this is extremely weird. And just to top this all off, right, we have so many other people saying the exact same thing. So many parents of young children basically saying this should not be for people under the age of 12. Inappropriate for kids, ages 13 plus, ages 12 plus. This is why I advocate for parents watching television with their kids, because not only is it a great way to bond with your kid, but also to see exactly what they're watching. And to be honest, I think that that's basically the only way at this point that parents can be 100% sure of what their kids are watching. Anytime they consume any sort of media, you have to be over their shoulder watching what they're watching, especially when they're that young. I know it's annoying, and I know it definitely shouldn't be like that, especially with parents being so busy, definitely having to work 2 jobs to provide for their kid, but that's just what has to happen now. Anyways, bro, I am so done with this Netflix show, Bad Dinosaurs, for right now. Click the video on screen right now because YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all over there. Subscribe.